this is for you guys, the residents here. This is a morning song for you guys. I'm dreaming of butterfly, butterfly in the dream. I'm a spider in the sky, spinning silk and sea. I'm reading waterfall on the shiver. I'm crying to the dawn. I'm over this world. We walk these hills, safe from harm. We greet the day with hope. I'm turtle of the sun, tugging at the night. I'm snake, the wretched one, ripping with delight. I'm salmon, swimming strong, strong. I'm snake wood very long. I'm nobody's fool. We walk these hills, safe from harm. We greet the day with hope. I'm wolf and I'm bear and I'm bald. I am the hunter deer, thin from my foe. I'm old down in the hole, slumbering on the ground. I keep track of all the stones, I hear every sound. We walk these hills, safe from harm. We greet the day with hope. I'm green butterfly, butterfly dream. I'm spider in the sky, spinning silk and sea. I'm raven, water song, polished and brave. I'm crying to the dawn. I'm over this world. We walk these hills, safe from harm. We greet the day with hope. We walk these hills, safe from harm. We greet the day with hope and arms, with hope and arms, with hope and yeah. For part of our touring life has been concerts, and part of our touring life has, or maybe more of our home life was doing what we call musical wallpaper. Lots of it. Art galleries were particularly kind to us. But all manner of things, and we just recently, our CDs have always been a mix of instrumentals and songs, but kind of weighted toward the songs. This next one we're going to do is off our latest CD. It's called The Garden Wall, and it's a bunch of these tunes that we've been playing forever.
So when I was a young girl, I was absolutely, totally horse crazy. And my best friend, Mickey, had a donkey, and that was close enough. So this donkey required a fair amount of effort to ride and have fun with because she was so pokey. She was very small. Even when I was in 5th grade, I could almost touch the ground with my legs. She was so small. But if you wanted to trot or lope, you actually had to entice her. Like one person, it took two people. One person would be kind of whipping and spurring and yee-hawing, and the other person would be running behind, jumping up and down on top of her rear end, which would make her bark. And then, wow, you get to trot for about 10 feet. So sometimes it was too much effort to take the donkey out and ride, so we would just kind of mess with her at the corral. And she was kind of mean. I don't understand why. So if you were in the corral with her, she would chase you with her teeth bared and her ears back. And if, to get her started, one would stand in front of her and the other would jump up and down on the rear end and off you go. So pretty soon this donkey has built up a pretty good head of steam and is running around and around doing laps, and she's really mad, and all of a sudden, all the way around, you know. And finally, she would run out of steam and she would stop, and her ears would come up, and that would be the end of the game. So this is called loping the donkey.
More tuning?
So, as we've traveled around, right now, right about, if I got my directions right, tonight, right about up in here, the Summer Triangle up here. Altar, Vega, what's the third one? Cygnus? No, that's the, there's a third one. Dennet. and they split the Milky Way, the summer triangle. You always kind of know where you are in the sky once you've learned these. And I learned them like I learned a lot of things. I learned just enough to write the song and not a bit more. But it always interested. But whatever I've written about, I always have been interested in. You know, it's weird. So this song has been very good to us, and it's got a little sky story. It was the title track of our second CD, which of course we don't have available here, but so naturally we're playing this.
You will soon.
Okay.
Have it available.
So we'll tell you a little story in front of this thing. We'll clarify. You gaze into the heavens on a clear summer night. The Milky Way seems to form a river of stars across the sky. And Altar, the cowherd, and Vega, the spinning maiden, appear on opposite banks. An old Chinese legend has it that this pair fell hopelessly in love. But their affair so angered the maiden's father that he cast them both into the sky, where the river of the Milky Way would separate them forever. In time, the father softened toward the young couple and decreed that they could meet for one night each year. Thus, on the seventh night of the seventh moon, the lovers cross a bridge made of magpie. But it should rain on that night. The Chinese call it the rain of tears, and the river swells. The lovers cannot meet. When I was a little boy, I looked up into the big sky. So deep, so vast, so wide, I was afraid I might fall in. I told my brother Joey I was kind of scared of the big sky. Joey said that's stupid, man, you can't fall. The big sky, the dawn stars, the big sky, the dawn stars, the big sky, the dawn stars. Two lovers making love in a cornfield underneath the big sky. Wishing they met, wishing they might just burn in love forever, way up the big sky. Oh, be careful what you wish for. That's how they rise in the sky, in the big sky. The dawn stars, the big sky. The dawn stars, the big sky. The dawn stars. We sent our little Voyager up into the big sky with a message in 55 different languages saying hi, how you doing? Sent the Beatles and Beethoven way up in the big sky. Maybe they just didn't like the tune. The big sky, the dawn stars,
the big sky, the golden stars, the big sky, the golden stars, the big sky, the golden stars, the big sky, the golden stars, big sky, golden stars. Yeah. Yeah, you're still funky. Let's
Spot weld the tuning here. Just weld it in place.
here. This will help. I know what to do.
But
Bring out the banjo. This will work so bad they won't hear your accent. This is a tenor banjo. This particular one was put together from a bunch of parts, but they're about 1924 parts. So my friend of mine was a fine luthier in Flagstaff named Gilbert. So now see where you're at.
good.
How about for if I was?
Oh, right. These are my frets. I mean my capos. So this song is about all the simple things on this earth and how the simplest things have value. It's called If I Was. If I was a little bird, a sparrow sure I'd be. A tiny voice, a simple song, but happy would I be to sing most joyously. And if I was a bumblebee, buzzing round the bowers in pantaloons of pollen sweet, I'd while away the hours, dancing with the flowers. And if I was a common moth, no fancy flutter by wings, I'd powder softly through the night to fragrant offerings and what the moonlight bring. Each has a meaning, each has a place, each one under the sun. Part of forever, part of together, the part of everyone. If I was a blade of grass growing straight feet tall. The prairie beasts thunder by, love me best of all. To feel the summer warm. And if I was out there to play with shining specks of sand, I'd bless the fires of the camp, then beneath the hand of artists great and grand.
So let's try this one. So the banjo didn't hurt too bad the first time. Not too bad. Oh, my friend Larry gave me this cool little tuner up here that I just remembered I had. Well, that comes in handy. Just looks like it doesn't look like I'm looking at anything right. It just looks like I'm staring at my headstock.
Tuning by sight.
Yes. Yes. This is another one off our new instrumental album. It's called Daffodil.
I'm not a blind harper. There are strong traditions of blind harbors in Ireland, how they made their living. But, really, Michael's looking.
Are those bags?
We'll just
That help, John?
He's got a lot of light in his elbow.
a lot of light on your eye right there.
I don't know, it's just.
Well,
cold there.
we'll keep letting it.
Jump on it.
We're checking downstairs.
Cool.
I haven't heard any mistakes yet.
For him, it's like,
Well, I
Yay.
was looking for Michael
Oh,
to see if there was a ladder here.
I think he's getting
Oh, okay.
So when we toured around the country and people found out that we were from Arizona, they would always say, "Oh my gosh, I love Arizona. I would love to move there. It's so warm and sunny." Really? You would like to move there? It gets really, really hot. Oh, but it's a dry heat, right? Yeah, it's definitely.
So is an oven.
Yeah, it's definitely a dry heat. So I wrote this song kind of to dissuade them from the idea of moving to Arizona for the dry heat.
Chamber of Commerce did not pick this one up.
It's called Sticky Thighs. Sticky thighs, lazy night, ice that crackles in a tall glass of tea. I'm too tired to kiss you, my darling. Let's move where the heat is dry. Heat is dry. Clear blue skies, and we'll hike desert foothills. And then if you're rude, will you make sweet love to me right here? My cousin Becky says I'm talking crazy. She says, yeah, it's dry, but it's 112. 112. Maybe we will just powder our thighs and swat at the flies and watch our poor dog slip into the shade, and maybe just one kiss for you now, my darling. Later, love, beneath the stars in the sky. Later, love, with stars in our thighs. Much later, love, with stars.
You want it on the side there?
There, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
In which case we're.
I apologize for the blinding light.
I think we could put the.
The
shade.
Thank you for indulging. Cool. Yes, much better, thank you.
Feel better?
Yes, I do, thanks.
Let's do, we tried to figure out what to do for you guys. We have no idea. So we're just kind of figuring it out as we go along. This is a little trilogy that begins with a song that I wrote a number of years ago, kind of talking about going across the country. I was raised in Arizona, and my mother's
folks lived in Indiana, so every now and again we would, a couple, 3 years, Mom would load the four of us in the car and in the station wagon and drive to Indiana, which I thought was a reasonably brave kind of thing to do. And Dad would stay home and work, I guess. And then the next two songs after that are poems by Walter de la Mare. The first one is called The Window, which is one Deb adapted, and the second one is called A Widow's Weeds, which is one I adapted many, many years ago. And it's, a widow's weeds are her mourning garments, right? And so, yeah, that's all you need to know, I think, to enjoy these four. Mom and the kids on summer vacation on Route 66, on the way to the farm. It never rains in the resort unless it's not snowing and the wind drives needles my 12-year-old heart. Forget us hard when we got to rolling past houses we couldn't quite see. But there were people living in tombstones, standing like statues in the garden. Now I had a seed, she stole in the garden and planted down deep where the souls go. She worked and she wept, she tended the seed till it bloomed in a flower that her children all know. And each Sunday morning we stroll through the churchyard, dressed in our finest, the whole family. Leave one red rose among the tombstones, standing like statues in the garden. Some I can buried with Hoosiers, and some I can buried out west. Some I can buried alive. There was some other around there, and the way regrets. I'd like to be counted as one of the living, and I've been through this fog here, and all I can see thousands, they remind me of tombstones standing like statues in the garden. Standing like statues in the garden. Behind the blinds, I sit and watch the people passing by, and not a single one can see my tiny watching eye.
They cannot see my little room. Oh, yellow, with the shaded sun. They do not even know I'm here. No, yes, when I'm gone. Oh, the weed, so they're gone with wildflower seed. Not too shallow, not too deep, down to make up show me like golden sun. Green as an arbor, leafy too. Now all summer she sits and sows a willow worm and corn, viewless glow. Teasel and pansy, meadow sweet, campion toad flax and rough hawks, brown Yorks and peals of bells, clover the that time she smiled. Like Obran's meadows regard me, drowsy from dawn to dusk with bees. Weeps she never, but sometimes sigh. Peeps at her garden to bright brown, and all she has is all she needs. Oh, little wee, little wee, little wee, little wee. How about?
Glad that one stayed in the set.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I've been, I have for my middle age crisis. And I'm still contending that I'm in middle age, so shut up. I couldn't afford like like a hot car or a boat or anything, and I really didn't. If I traded out lives, I was going to lose my musical partners. So I picked up the slide, which is something that I have been fascinated with for years, but had never like messed with at all. So late in life, I'm trying to become the great blonde white blues guy, I guess. No, of course I can't. I apply it, and I can't do anything the way anybody else does it. I always have to, put my own little thing on it, right? Which I guess is good, but it's difficult sometimes. Anyway, this is. I think I'll tell you a story. The great Lao Tzu, late in his life, apparently grew so disgusted with the affairs of men that one day he hollered out, "Saddle up my water buffalo."
even back then there was borders, and eventually he came to one, and they stopped him. They said, you know, Lao Tzu, you're our greatest sage. You can't just up and leave like this. Write some of this stuff down, why don't you? So in one last act of accommodation to humans who he was never that crazy about to begin with, he dismounted and he began to write. And he wrote, and he wrote, and he wrote, and he wrote, and he wrote. And legend has it that what he wrote was what we now know as the Tao Te Ching. But eventually, like all you writers will know, he was done. He was finished. And once again, he hollered out, "Saddle up my water buffalo." And he rode off into a sunset that was exactly the color. Those little bottles of sweet and sour sauce that you see on the tables. Mingling with truth among the flowers, I have forgotten what to say. The road goes on. Weary of the world of men, there's just time to get away from the treaty with my fear. All beings come to fire, all beings come to light. By water, voice, and wind. All beings come here, ready for the fight. All come the same. Skies on fire, skies. Stand up my water buffalo. Many spokes converge at the hub, but the magic of the wheel lies in the space between what you cannot even imagine and where you've already been. All beings come to fire, all beings come to light. By water, voice, and wind. All beings come here, ready for fight. All come the same. Skies on fire, skies. Stand up my water buffalo. Mingling with truth among the flowers, I have forgotten what to say. The road goes on from here. Weary of the world, but then there's just time to kneel and pray. On the tree with our fear. All beings come to fire, all beings come to light. By water, voice, and wind. All beings come here ready for fight. I've come to sing. Skies on fire, skies. Stand up my water buffalo. Skies on fire, skies. Stand up my water buffalo.
would like her to see.
Yeah.
They're so useful.
They are very useful. They are.
Great source of creation.
They are great.
So, let's show them our other little beast here. That'd be a good idea. Let's start with that. Yeah, they didn't leave when the banjo came out, so maybe they won't leave when they come. Oh.
Right.
Very good. Thank you. Carl, would you like to we should put Carla in charge of the thing. If you don't turn, we apologize. We will resume the air conditioning. But if you play a free reed instrument like this under a fan like this, it always sounds like shrimp underwater.
Interesting.
Which if you're going for that sound, that's a great thing to have.
But we're not.
But we're not going for that this I hitchhiked a lot when I was a kid. I'm walking on the highway. I'm walking to the end. Sometimes it lies like a ribbon before. Sometimes I can't see round the bend. In the twilight, headlights and headlights shine like rubies and diamonds so bright. I'm walking on this highway. I'm walking on this highway. I'm walking to the end. I trace the supple skin of my life. I chase the butterfly band. If I feel right, if I do right, I will dream of her once again tonight. I'm walking on this highway. I'm walking on this highway. I'm walking to the end. I take the place of many before. I am as worthy as any other man. In the dawn's light, I feel the earth smile. I bow my head down and walk beside. I am walking on this highway. I'm walking on this highway. I'm walking on this highway.
Did that last little tune sound familiar? Da, 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 da. Anybody know what it is? You all heard it. But we have a bunch of us. Yeah. Got it? No?
You got it, Davida.
Why let the get along? Why let the get along? Why let the get along?
Well, so do you want the ontological thing next? Do you want an ontological sing-along? You guys up for that? Are you up for a sing-along, eh?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, all right.
It's pretty.
All right, well,
Remember you asked?
so, it's kind of call and response. And normally you'll follow Deb, sometimes you can follow me. The line is the wheel is around. We're talking about infinity and eternity and the distance that separates the free. The arc and wheel of existence of all that has been, forever will be. How we dance on the arc, we chord and we spark in a blood rushing spin. And the spinning around makes a terrible sound, but it's only the wind. The wheel is proud. And you say, the wheel is right. The wheel is right. And you say, the wheel is right. The wheel is right. Right. The wheel is right. Now if there was a beginning, then there will have to be an end. Our birds on us parade to the basketball, the bend of light. Wind cast in the states, the turn of the blades, from whence it has come. Yeah, that is so. Tell me where you suppose the light came from. The wheel is right. 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 Yes, you will move on with heart. Your life was just so much work to do. But there's work to do. There's work to do. Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. 4 winged beasts with burnished hooves, churn and burn all day. And they 4 had the face of a lion and ox, an eagle and a man. Speaking the language of thunderbolts, so that Israel will understand. The wheel is right. Ezekiel saw it. The wheel is right. Oh, tell us what all about. The wheel is right. The wheel is right. The wheel is right. The wheel is round, round. The wheel is round. The wheel is round, round. The wheel is round. The wheel is round. The wheel is round. The wheel is round.
Blues round. And infinity is greater than zero. Blues round.
Very good.
We'll do one more sing along.
Oh, no, let's not.
Not that.
We were that.
Yeah, no, let's do them all.
But first, we tune. Because we can. When my father was a young boy, he would go up into the hills behind his hometown, Berlin, Hampshire, with his best friend, Stitchy Bykuski. There's 7 or 8-year-old boys. They would go into the mountains to explore, play games, do what boys do in the woods. Their favorite place to go was up into the trees, and then there was a clearing up there about halfway up the mountain. And in the back of the clearing was a cave. And they'd play cowboys and Indians and army and all manner of stuff. They were up there regularly. One time they went up there and they came into the clearing and they saw 3 huge white bears. And the bears were building a cabin. And the boys stopped and looked at each other, and their eyes were huge, and it scared them so bad that they ran back down to town. They never told anyone. And it took them months to get up the courage to go back up there. But when they finally did, there were no bears. There was no cabin. What they did find, however, was that their cave had been filled in with a landslide. So my dad figured the bears were his protectors. And later on in his life, as he was dying, he saw many wonderful things, and he had many protectors that came to him. So these are his actual words. I just put them in music and arranged them in such a way to make them kind of poetic. And this song is called Home. Three great bears come to me, building shelter from the storm. White as snow and tall as trees, they have come here to keep me warm. 4 white horses with reins and legs carry my body along. To 7 lovely women who'll take my hands and lead me, home. Standing on the road at night, I am not afraid. 4 watchers beside me, with maps to show the way. And at the end of the road there lay a track I must have borne. The stars to reckon along the way will find my way, find my way home. I will
be kissed upon the forehead, and I'll have all I could ever possibly want. And I will lay down this tired old body, and I will I will be kissed upon the forehead, and I'll have all I could ever possibly need. And I will lay down this tired old body, and I will follow. Yes, I will follow.
So nice and clear when we pulled in today. Oh, yes. Carla? Oh, no. Deb. Deb. Audiences. Sweat my butts off. They're dying out there. Put on 3.
We've done one.
No, put on. One's not going to do it. You can tell. There you go. Not so much better.
That's a little bad. We'll try. Better. Okay.
So, the new normal, right? The West is on fire. All the time. Gonna be like that probably the rest of our lives. My grandfather kind of foresaw this. My grandfather was in the Forest Service. He taught me when I was about, well, before I turned 10, about fuel load and all kinds of things like that, fires, crowning, so on.
We had a pretty bad fire 2 years ago that you probably have heard of, the Yarnell fire. A very good friend of ours was one of the first houses to burn, and 19 hotshots died in that fire. She had 15 minutes to get out when the winds suddenly switched, and the fire moved so fast that no man could outrun it. She spent her 15 minutes calling all of her neighbors to make sure that they got out, and finally one of her neighbors came and got her to tell her, your house is going to burn, go now, Vanessa. And as they ran to the car, it was raining fire. This is called 19.
Find the fire, it's hot and heavy, dangerously extreme. Better not go out here without knowing what to do. But you find out what you're made of, now wear what you're made of cracks. You and your brothers always got each other's backs. The big birds flew off somewhere, choppers stood around right. The beast was running north and east, the winds out of the south. When a storm come out of nowhere, turned the fire around. Blew all those men to our town. 19 men from Grand Mountain, 19 men stood in the way of the fire-breathing dragon that came from us that day. And while we stood there naked, we did not stand alone. 19 men from Grand Mountain, turned to stone. Well, I was on the phone like crazy, calling everyone. The devil closes hard and fast, it's riding down on you. My friends won't leave without you, so we ran to the car. We're afraid our clothes will catch on fire. Now they say the heart has courage, but you never really know till you've had it tested. Then you're good to go. And I know in that moment we fought through fear and doubt. Just try to make sure everyone got out. 19 men from Grand Mountain, 19 men stood in the way of the fire-breathing dragon that came from us that day. And while we stood there naked, we did not stand alone. 19 men from Granite Mountain turned to stone, turned to stone. Oh, there is a hell. No, there is a hell. Overtook those 19 men hidden outside Yarnell. Love and mercy should prevail where the angels play. It rains a little bit there every day, and it's raining here this morning. Ain't seen that in years. Like the skies cry, these are heaven's tears. You'll know them by their colors, you'll know them by their acts. You'll know them, they're the ones that have your back. 19 men from Red Mountain, 19 men stood in the way of the fire-breathing dragon came from us that day. While we stood there naked, we did not stand alone. 19 men from Granite Mountain turned to stone. 19 men from Granite Mountain, 19 men stood in the way of the fire-breathing dragon came for us that day. While we stood there naked, we did not stand alone. 19 men from Granite Mountain turned to stone.
tune was called Dog Angels, and we play that in honor of our old tour dog, Yippee.
Yippee, the fairly famous folk dog.
Yippee, the
And
fairly
for
famous
Lucy.
folk dog. She had her own radio show for a while.
It was short-lived, but
Wonderful. Well, I think we should let you guys get up. So I think we'll finish here, and I really want to thank Larry for showing up. And,
Yes.
and for playing guitar too.
I can at least show up.
Yeah, you can go, yeah. So we've been friends for, Larry ran, how we actually met was Deb and I walked into what at the time for me was the most esoteric guitar store I had ever walked into in Salt Lake City. And we left him a CD, our first CD, and they came back through, and this was our very first tour up the Northwest. Matter of fact, we came up with a whole pocket full of rain songs one year. It was the summer that it didn't stop raining up here, and we weren't very popular. And we realized about halfway through, we're going to have to retool this whole set because people are just are not, yeah, it's nice enough, but they just weren't getting the context. I
It
think
was
they
a
get a
year
lot.
of no summer.
Yeah. So then we returned from that trip. We went back through Salt Lake, and Larry had been listening to our CD, and suddenly we had like this friend, this great friend who's been nothing but that ever since. So we thank you very much, and Carla, of course.
So these guys now understand why I was so entranced.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you haven't played anything for that record, but we're going to now.
They get the general picture.
And Deb Ford.
For everything.
Everything. We're just having the vision. What a cool vision this place is. It's really wonderful. And this room. When Deb did her residency, I didn't need a residency so much as I needed a road trip. So while she did her three-week residency, I did a road trip and got up with old friends and stuff. And then I came back here, and Deb Ford said, "Well, Deb's cabin is still available for this next week, if you'd like to stay." So I stayed in my residency. We just came in here and played.
We sat right here and just played.
And because we've been off the road for a number of years, and we miss it. We miss traveling, and we miss getting to play in cool rooms like this. A cool room is what it's all about. Sometimes people show up, sometimes people don't show up. Sometimes a bunch of people show up, and sometimes only a few people show up. But the room is just cool. So since you guys did so well on that ontological stuff, we'll do one. This is about the Grand Canyon.
Has anybody been down the river on the Grand Canyon?
You should all go.
E-ticket ride, right?
Oh, you've been?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
This song's for you.
This one's and everybody else should go if you can. It costs a lot of money, but it is cool. It changed our lives. We were very fortunate to get to go with a very famous river guide named Lou Steiger, who's the twin brother of a very good friend of mine. And so it's kind of a family trip that we were. Steiger, it was a Steiger family trip that we were kind of fillers on, and it absolutely changed our lives. And we were in the middle. We were public lands ranchers at the time, and we were targets for any number of. You'll probably remember Cattle Free by '93, and we were right in the middle of that. I was wearing a Target T-shirt too, and we went down the Grand Canyon, or went through on the Colorado through the canyon, and emerged from that realizing that none of what we were doing mattered. That this is what I mean. That it just dwarfs the scale of anything that you're talking about. So there's a one-word chorus, and you'll get it because you got the ontological stuff. There's no stronger wind to blow than the one that blows tonight up the canyon from the desert. It don't know wrong
right, don't give a damn about your conviction. What did you indulge? You run up your abstractions, they will blow you off course. You better from the snow melt in the Rockies, from San Juan in the green, the Colorado hurts your children just like souls in the stream. You can take the wild ride if you choose, rust like so much sand, but keep your eyes peeled downstream. This ain't Disneyland. You better roll, that's your mark. You better roll. Now the river rocks the pump as it rolls down through the age. It shatters any sense of scale when it turns back the page. Ruins of your history, civilizations in their prime are all slipped today. Live just the way you give time. So if time is what you're after, that's what you think you like. Hey, take all the time you want here, you might not be coming back. You can lift your eyes and wonder, this drifting shore to shore. When the river snakes, it's savage, you better grab it on. You better you better river laugh. Did you think that you could come here and fail to be impressed with the terrifying beauty of your reflections on your ass? Your passion leaving breathless. You find the truth you see when you hit a hole and the light falls as difficult as a speed. It's an adolescent fantasy, we really are losing. Just acting like we're in control, desperate to abuse it. But the lyric of the rocks that belong to the night. You may dare to dam the river, but you cannot still the tide. You better roll, you better roll. Well, I know you know the parable of the sailors out at sea. There were 4 men with guns, there was only 3. If my friend don't believe we're on that same boat, how long can you tread water? How long can you stay afloat? You better roll. You better roll. You better roll. You better roll. Turn me down the stream. Life is but a dream. 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 Life is but a dream.
Yeah. There you go. They don't stand up to leave, so.
Down here,
Okay,
down here.
yeah, it'll bookend this good.
You're listening to her, not me.
Oh, go figure. This will bookend this one pretty good. This one was actually written, it doesn't.
Thank you.
So we want to hear the shrimp. Shrimp.
It would fit this song. Okay, yeah. Many years ago, on tour up here, we were on the Wilson River. I don't tell many crowds this, but because we kind of use this song in the Southwest a lot. But this is actually a song written when we were on the Wilson River. Kind of at a big music party, and not unlike floating down rivers that desert rivers that we have, the Verde and the Salt. People had a bunch of inner tubes, and we were just a bunch of hippies on inner tubes floating down the river. There might have been some substances involved. I can't remember, but things were all upside down. It was really wonderful. Oh, and I should also say that we have a dear friend in common that we lost last year, T.R. Ritchie, a really gifted songwriter. Ritchie, if you want to look him up, his stuff's still around. He's a really, really great songwriter. When he turned 50, we were having all converge at Larry's house in Salt Lake City, and had a party for TR. And I sang him a song, and because I'd just written it, I said, I wrote a song for you for your birthday. Finished it, and TR was no idiot. He said, you didn't write that song for me. I said, no, I didn't. and you know why he knew? Because there's a dog in it, not a cat.
Yeah.
He's a cat boy.
I'm on my back in a tube in the water, spinning around and around. The sky is a river that flows through the tree, and the rocks are all upside down. I only come here for a wee bit of green, breathe in the cool mountain air. I'm perfectly happy just drifting down the street. I know where I am when I'm there. Yeah, I'd like to live in a little cedar shake house with my dog and my dog. And when the fire takes our shack, we'll just lean way back and dip our heads in the icy cool sky. You see, I only come here for a wee bit of green, breathe in the cool mountain air. I'm perfectly happy just drifting down the street. I know where I am when I'm there. in a tube in the wall, spinning around and around and around, but the sky's the rim goes through the trees, and the rocks are all upside down. Home they come here for a wee bit of green, and breathe in the cool mountains air. I'm perfectly happy just drifting down the street. I know where I am when I'm there. I know where I am down here. I know where I am down here. Baby, I know where I am down here. I know where I am down
There's two things that happened today that I've never seen happen before. Deb Ford played Betty Crocker and made a bunch of cookies. And she wore a dress. I've never seen any of those things happen. So I have a small round of applause. Okay.
All right. Cheese.
Cheese.